It almost feels like it was like cutting a piece of butter, scoring the first 21 points. Boom, 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 slice and dice, boom, right down the field, touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. And then they just go nothing. They can't move the ball. They felt like they were moving the ball. They couldn't get points on the board. Feels like a collapse in coaching. It feels like the play calling completely changed. I don't know if they went all conservative.
See, that's what I don't.
Just walk us through it, because that's what people see, man. They see 21 points go on the board easy, and we can't get another point the rest of the damn game. Let's bring Johnny Mac in right now. Back here, got him back on the show. Johnny Mac, your first thought, your first react. Welcome back into the post-game show, brother. Your first reaction to the Eagles' loss today.
Well, hopefully the mic is good. So
yep, you're good.
That's number one. But yeah, tale of two halves, and that's been too often the case. It's like you play so well in one half, and then you play so poorly in another half, which has happened against the Rams. It's happened against the Bucs. Now it crops up and happens again today. To Dan's point, the running game is atrocious. Again, Saquon Barkley, 10 carries, 22 yards. At what point? I don't know. Blame whoever you want to blame, but that's not acceptable. Jalen Hurts, who actually, I thought the quarterback run game was much improved, led the team in rushing, but you never want that. And Javonte Williams has had a good year, just a rock solid day. Not, terribly explosive, but 20 yards, but consistent, moving the football forward, which helps with avoiding those negative plays. And then it's like, I see my first thought is be careful what you wish for, which I say all the time. 289 yards passing. At the end of the day, you lose the football game. That looks pretty good, but you lose the football game. And then defensively, everybody wants to move Cooper outside. Cooper move outside. Adoree Jackson gets hurt. Michael Carter comes in to play the slot. Cooper's outside. Not the same. Now, Sidney Brown was out there as well because of injuries, and Drew McCuba. That's going to be a big deal on a short week because that secondary fell apart, losing Reed Blankenship and Adoree Jackson. Imagine, I don't know what's going on with CeeDee Lamb and drops against the Philadelphia Eagles, but imagine if he didn't drop those three balls. Man. What you're talking about as far as the Cowboys moving the football. And George Pickens is the player I centered on during the week. Man, he's good. Is he good?
Yes, sir.
He's mossing people. He is just killing people. I mean, those are two really good corners, Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean. He killed them both.
Yeah.
9 targets, 9 receptions, 146 yards. The big play that essentially won the football game for him. Look, bad loss. A lot of things to wring your hands about. The penalties as well. Penalties all over the place. I believe it was a season high in penalties. 14. And you know what? I didn't see many they missed. I didn't see many that you went, oh, that's not a penalty. So way too sloppy. And look, the fast track meant something. For all the talk about how good that defense was, part of it was the weather. 473 total yards for the Cowboys. 339 for the Eagles. Different game. You got to win it a different way. And the Eagles played one half and lost the football game. Can't play one half.
No pass rush too, John, in the second half of that ball game. I mean, I thought Dak was spectacular in the game. They weren't able to really get pressure. Now, he got away with a couple big ones in there. There could have been, a couple more interceptions, obviously, but, they know they have to win the ball game by throwing the ball. And, John, their run game was the difference really in the ball game, man. I mean, they were able to get those gas plays going, and I thought they won first and second down in the game. Whereas because their inability to be able to get the ball going and running the football, I mean, you had a ton of 3-and-outs again in the second half. If going, 3-and-outs are going to be a bad thing. And again, they were like their third down was not very good also in this game.
And there was a ton of self-inflicted Cowboy wounds early in the first half. And that's why I
Absolutely.
say, imagine if they were clean in the first half, what it might have looked like. But the Eagles, the Eagles drive charts. I mean, once they got the lead, so 7 plays, 50 yards, touchdown, 12 plays, 76 yards, touchdown, 6 plays, 66 yards, touchdown. Then you go 3 for 8. One, end of the half doesn't count, but 3 for 8, 6 for 18, 3 for 7 before they got even a modicum of life in the fourth quarter, and they started moving the football a little bit. But then you had the Jake Elliott miss. Look, it's 56 yards, even indoors. That's tough. He pushed it. He just missed it. Then they had the fumble, which, again, Saquon, good play by Sam Williams. You have to give credit to Sam Williams for that hustle, but that's that situation. You're already in field goal range in a tie game, 21-21 at that point, tie game. You have a nice job. You're responding. You're moving the football. You could go in. At the worst case, you're going to get a field goal and take the lead back. That was a really bad fumble by Saquon, and then. Obviously, when you talk about the last time they had the ball, I think it was 3rd and 2. Have to check that. But, and AJ has constantly said with his angst with this offense, give me the ball in big moments. And they called that play. You could see it, that in a nice camera angle from the spider camera, Jalen Hurts was going to him. And I think it was the first time all night, but nonetheless, great coverage by the Cowboys and coverage sack, and Dallas gets the ball back.
I'll tell you what, John, that just shows you what we've been talking about. When everyone gets ticked off at us, the margins of error right there, once the margins of error were taken away by the Cowboys, when you started getting turnovers and you were getting those 3 and outs, this is what you're going to get. I mean, the Cowboys are not a world-beating football team. That team's not going anywhere in the postseason, but they're good enough to negate some of the margins of errors that the Eagles have on that team, which means, John, they can lose any single weekend, because if they turn the ball over, can't run the ball, and they're not efficient with some type of balance, team like the Cowboys,
I should have mentioned the Xavier Gibson play. That's unacceptable. That's the reason he was on the waiver wire to begin with, because that was his reputation.
That punt, dude? Why even field it?
Good question. Now, in the old days, you could put your heels on the 10-yard line if it went over your head.
Run forward.
Yeah, right.
It went over your head and you let it go. Nowadays, in the modern game, people catch it back there all the time. I don't know. I don't know. You'd have to ask not only the Eagles, but 31 other teams. And it was a big hit. It was a nice hit by the kid who got sort of wiped out at the beginning of the play. He got up and he was able to come in and deliver a big hit. But, man, situational football, you can't fumble in that type of situation. Just let it go in the end zone. But, yeah, mental mistake, mental error, no question about that. That was obviously a big part of it. But ironically, the Eagles held up there, the defense. And by the way, defensively, the numbers look bad because Dallas is a high volume team. I thought they played pretty well.
Yeah, me too.
Until the injuries, until Adoree and Reed. And we've had a lot of people shitting on Reed. Like, he's a big part, man. The communication fell apart. Michael Carter picked Quinyon Mitchell on the big Pickens play. Just he's getting in his way.
Right. John, I thought even after those guys got hurt, though, I mean, Gibson fumbles the ball. They get the ball inside the 10-yard line. They didn't even get in. They didn't even get points off that.
The defense.
I mean, I thought the defense did everything they could.
Yeah.
Well,
I got to talk, John.
As John knows, welcome to the NFL. This is all going to be part of the conversation. This is why the Eagles were so good a year ago with the depth they had on a team. Sandra, that team's not that deep at certain positions.
No, I know.
Lose certain guys, especially edge and corner.
You got
those guys, and you're making stops like that. Your offense got to go down and get you some points, man.
Oh, absolutely. They went conservative in the second half.
Well, I got to talk to you about the coaching here, man. Talk me through this, and we'll get to the penalties in a second. They had 14 of them for 96 yards today. The coaching, though, they come out, John, it almost feels like it was like cutting a piece of butter, scoring the first 21 points. Boom, 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 slice and dice, boom, right down the field, touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. And then they just go nothing. They can't move the ball. They felt like they were moving the ball. They couldn't get points on the board. Feels like a collapse in coaching. It feels like the play calling completely changed. I don't know if they went all conservative.
That's what I don't.
Just walk us through it, because that's what people see, man. They see 21 points go on the board easy, and we can't get another point the rest of the damn game.
Well, that part is bad, but I mean, when you talk about, there's some plays in there that they had a big play to Goddard. They got called back because they didn't line up correctly. I mean, they're taught to line up correctly. Again, it's boring, but when you talk about execution, and the one point I will, to Dan's point, I will hammer down on, they can't run the freaking football.
They can't.
With Saquon Barkley.
It is.
I mean, you're up 21-0.
Yep.
Right.
And you have a first team all-pro running back. What is any coach in the NFL doing?
Offensive
Saying,
player.
well, I got a 3 touchdown lead. I'm going to run the football, run the clock, and get the hell out of here.
That's not championship football. I'll tell you that.
They can't run the football. They again, another game. Forget under 3 yards. 2.2 yards a carry. So they come out first. Let's run it with Saquon Barkley with a 21-0 lead. That part makes sense. And they can't run the football 2 yards. And even that, they go second down. Devontae Smith, nice little 6-yard gain. Then it's Cam Jurgens' false start. Now, maybe that was the one, he moved his head or whatever they said he did. I don't know what he did, but maybe that's one you could complain about. But that sets you back, the negative plays, and all of a sudden it's 3 and out. That's the kind of stuff that has hampered the Eagles all year. The execution part of it, the negative plays. And even if you think back to the first time they had the football, then they got negative plays. It's bizarre with this team, but they got bailed out. They got bailed out with that roughing the punter call. So you think about, they came out, so they slice and dice right down the field, take a 7-0 lead. Then they come out on their second drive, negative run to Saquon Barkley. And that's followed by a Fred Johnson false start. So you're 2nd and 16. And Barkley run for 2 yards on 2nd and 16. You're 3rd and 14. And they throw a pass to Darius Cooper that gains 4 yards. They got to punt the ball. And the only reason they didn't go 3 and out there is because of the roughing the punter call on Dallas. So that's been this team all year when they struggle offensively. Negative plays on 1st and 2nd down, and they might be lack of execution. And even forget about negative plays, behind the off-schedule plays, like when you get 1 yard or you get 2 yards with Saquon Barkley. Those were 5 or 6 yards last year. And all of a sudden, John, they're second and manageable.
I'll tell you something too, John. I mean, there is no doubt you've got to have a come-to-Jesus conversation about your run game, because they're not going to win football games throwing the ball. All the things that people are talking about throwing the football, I thought in the second half when they got the lead and they were up 21-0 and they changed their pace and they changed their philosophy, it looked to me like they were playing not to lose the game, because the Cowboys came rolling back on them. And with those 3 and outs and inability to run the ball, they gave possessions back, John. They gave possessions back the entire second half, and Dak was able to throw them out of trouble. They were down 21 points. 21 points. Super Bowl teams, John, don't surrender 21-point leads like that to mid-level teams. That's a mid-level team.
Well, I agree, but they're not a mid-level passing team. I do.
Okay, but as a unit, John, they're in the middle of the league.
Yeah, they're an average team because of their other issues. So the point is, the offense has got to pick up the defense a little bit, especially when guys leave the game because of injury, like a Dorian Reed. But I go back to, so they tie the game, And I go back to that drive so it's 21-21. The Cowboys tied the game. The Eagles get the ball back. I mean, that's a big situation. They're moving the football. They go down the field. Jalen Hurts started it with a scramble. Then they have the pass to AJ. They got 19 yards. They go back to Smitty for 4 yards. Another scramble for 8 yards. They're moving the ball. They're at the Dallas 31. Cooper for a 3-yard gain. Devontae for 16, right? Bang. Fred Johnson, legal use of hands. Instead of a 16-yard gain to the 12, you're back to the 38. And on the next play, and by the way, that was a good call. Fred just got his hand right up in the guy's face and didn't get it out. Then they go to Barkley on a little flare pattern, and Williams makes the play. And it was a great play by Williams, great hustle play. He fumbles the football. They were moving the ball. That was a really good-looking drive.
Yeah.
They were going to score.
14 freaking penalties, dude. Where do you put? Is that solely on execution? Is that on play? Is there any? Do you look at
the lineup?
I mean, Nick Sirianni, at what point do you take accountability for your football club that takes penalties left and right? I mean, how many offensive penalties have we had stalled drives this year?
Yeah, Xander, you got to start first with player accountability.
I agree.
Okay.
I'm not trying
to. I mean, if you're just talking about accountability, I mean, Nick goes over, above, and beyond to protect the players. All he does is say, that's on me. I got to coach up. All that bullshit. All the Andy Reid bullshit. When you don't line up correctly, that's on the player. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Now, the illegal use of hands, sometimes, especially when you're Fred Johnson and you're 6'8", and it was.
But that's why he's the backup, John, and that's why that plays a factor, Xander. When you talk about coaching, Xander, well, it's not really coaching. What it is look at the level of drop off you go from Lane Johnson to Fred. Lane's not going to have that play in that position and in that moment of the game. Fred, because he's a backup, he's more apt to have that because of lack of reps, what have you. He's not a first-team starter. There's a difference between being a Hall of Fame guy and a guy who's a backup. He's playing against a dude that's probably the equal of him or maybe even better. Fred's a good player, but he's not a starting player in this league. And when you have that, you're going to have inconsistency in your offensive line, pre-snap issues. You're going to have guys not knowing the snap count. You're going to have guys not understanding fan blocking or zone. All of that plays a factor when you start putting backups in. Did you see in the secondary? When you started playing guys that were backup players, they were getting turned around like a turnstile in there.
They were. John, how do you evaluate Jalen Hurts tonight?
I thought he played a good game, but, it's difficult to, obviously he didn't turn it over again. He had one of his better passing games. They got AJ involved early, so the numbers look good. But again, I go to that be careful because that's not the style the Eagles want to play. And oh, by the way, I brought up those fourth quarter drives. They were also, moving the ball a little bit again after the defense shut down Dallas. And they got the fourth down stop. They were moving the ball again. And that's what I would say was the most egregious Jalen Hurts play of the game. It was 3rd and 2 from the Eagles 37. And he took not only did he take a sack, he took a 13-yard sack. And that's a really bad sack in that position, really bad sack. I got to see the all 22. I got to see, was anybody open? It certainly didn't look like AJ was open.
It was internal pressure too, John. I mean, every quarterback.
Up the middle. But again, if you're 13 yards back, you have some time if you keep backing up. Right. So whether you throw it at somebody's feet or you got to do something. You can't take a 13-yard sack.
It was
I've gotten so used to Jalen just being able to roll out of there, you know what I mean, and go and make something out of it. Even if you rolled out and threw it away, I thought maybe 4th and 2. I don't know. I don't think they would have gone for it.
I don't think they would have went for it, but at least you put Braden Mann in a better city. And by the way, Braden Mann was awesome. I know nobody cares, but that guy was unbelievable today. as a punter, and their punter was great too. Which again talks to the conditions and all that kind of stuff. But
the first half, he was pinning the Cowboys back.
Yeah.
They were winning complete. Xander, that's what makes this whole thing even crazier, is that the Cowboys were winning field position in the first half. They had 21 points in the first half. They were winning everything. And they just started leaking oil from the beginning of the third period. As soon as it started, they started leaking oil. And by the end, dude, it ran out of gas a little bit. And the Cowboys were able, because of those 3 and outs, the 3 and outs, lack of run game again. That's the Achilles heel right now, this Eagles offense.
I still think they win if a Dorian Reed don't get injured. I still think they win. They did not handle those injuries well.
No, and specifically the Reed one, in my opinion.
Shows you the lack of depth, Xander, that's back there.
Yeah.
But
John, do you think Nick Sirianni came up short in any areas for this team today?
Well, I mean, he's the coach.
How about calling that timeout at the end there? Did you like that, John, when they stopped
at halftime?
No, at the end of the ball game, right before they were going to kick the field goal, he called the timeout himself. And when there was like 40 seconds left, I mean, instead of letting it run down like that, I mean, what'd you make of that?
Well, they were going to be able to run it down. So, I mean, you know, do you want to go home with a timeout? Do you not want to go home?
I guess. I mean,
I'm not. I mean, the game's over at that point. You know, you're hoping Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter can get some internal pressure like they did, but I mean, that guy kicks the ball so high.
Yeah.
You're not going to get near.
Be a weapon, like you said, John. I thought once they got to the 40, I thought they were in like position to win that thing too.
Well, I thought, you know, if they didn't get the first down on it would have been a 65-yard. They would have tried it. You never say he's going to make that, but you got to hold your breath. I say that if you know he attempts it from there. So
he's a weapon.
Yeah, it really is. And he missed. He missed from 51, which is rare. He's only got one miss coming into this game, and it was from 68. So 51 is like 33 back in the day for him. So that was a big break for the Eagles that he missed that one. But, you know, talking about a potential field goal block late, he kicks the ball so high. I don't know if you guys watched that kick, how high it was. You know, Will Chamberlain couldn't block that thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, once it got down to that position, but it's a bad loss. So obviously you blame the head coach. I mean, and I'm sure Nick will be, you know, he'll be accountable. He always is, but I don't know if people.
John, you don't think they went conservative in the second half?
Well, a little bit. You know, I thought they tried to, you know, tried to get the running game going a little bit.
I thought that pass to Barkley was open all day on the side.
Yeah, it was.
I wish they would have kept hitting that.
Well, you know, they came out. They got the ball. Coming out of halftime. So, and the first play was one of those little flat passes to Barkley, and they got 16 yards. So their first play coming out of halftime was a 16-yard gain to Saquon out of the backfield. And then, so it's 1st and 10 at midfield, right on the star, 50-yard line, 1st and 10. Saquon Barkley up the middle for no gain. And, oh, by the way, on the play, Tyler Steen, offensive holding. So all of a sudden, you're 1st and 20 instead of 1st and 10 at the 50. You're 1st and 10 at 20 at your own 40. Then they tried Tank Bigsby. And again, for whatever reason, he's got more juice and he gets an 8-yard gain. You know, I don't know. And that was the second quarter, excuse me, coming out. So I screwed that up. But coming out, you know, it's like, why is Tank Bigsby? What is going on with this blocking scheme? Is it just that anybody nobody's focused on Tank Bigsby and everybody's super focused. I can buy that to a degree because it's Saquon Barkley. Everybody's going to be focused. So I can buy that to a degree, but to this level?
No way. Man, I mean, good grief. I mean, Xander, he's like, I wouldn't say he's one of the top.
There's not much to defend
in the NFL right now. I mean,
like, why is Tank Bigsby getting play? I mean, why?
Do you think we're at a point where they could be considering?
I do. Yeah, I do. When a guy gets more reps than the other guy in a game, they're going with the hot hand.
Because I was focused on Bigsby having, again, that little space where Saquon can't seem to have any space. So that to me is a big concern. But what I meant to say, coming out in the third quarter to the point of the conservatism, they started passing the football. They came out, first play was a pass to Grant Calcaterra, and they get an 8-yard gain. So 2nd and 2, all right, you're cooking already at the 40-yard line. And then they go, that's the Dallas Goedert play. They go jumbo formation, Dallas Goedert, nice little play, and they get 20 yards down to the Dallas 40, but illegal formation, Pryor's uncovered. So 1st and 10 at the Dallas 40 turns into 2nd and 7 at the Eagles 35. This is the kind of stuff that is shooting that offense in the foot. And then it's deep shot to Devontae Smith. So remember, for the conservatism talk, pass coming out. And then 3rd and 7, pass again to Devontae Smith, incomplete. So pass coming out. I can't say they're conservative. I could say they're ineffective because they can't line up correctly.
I'll tell you, John, in covering the Eagles, what am I now, 5 years, Xander? That's the worst offensive line since I've been covering the football team.
Certainly from a run standpoint. Now, it's interesting because at halftime, the pass protection in the first half was the best it's been all year. Dallas couldn't snip Jalen Hurts.
They didn't hold that in the second half, though, John.
No.
Because I was looking for it when you said it at halftime. I watched freaking Cam Jurgens. Did you see that one play?
Yeah.
I mean, he moved
Cam
around.
Cam had a rough second half. But I don't think it was a good pass rushing day for either team.
No.
Overall.
Yeah, but Dallas is not. No, I mean, that just takes away, though, John. I mean,
you're right. I mean, the Eagles are supposed
to. That's what equalized the game. Is that everyone knows Cowboys don't have a pass rush. When the Eagles don't have a pass rush and they can't run the ball and the other team can run, that's how you make that game close.
Guys, 10 carries from Saquon. Do you think that's more because of the lack of production, or should they have maybe given him more opportunities to carry the football?
Well, how many times can you run it if you're getting 2.2 yards?
Yeah, I get it. I'm just saying, there is the old adage of like, keep running it. You'll eventually you'll break one, or over time.
So you think they bailed on it, John?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking. 10K. They were up 21-0. You would think they'd have 25.
Well, I think I'm the opposite. As I told you, when they came out in the third quarter, they go pass. I think they fell in love with the success they were having in the first half with the passing game. Then, so they punt the ball after that failed drive. Dallas gets it. They have to punt it. So it's punt to start the third quarter. And then maybe they tried to get the running game going. Well, at least on 1st and 10, you run to Barkley. He gets 1 yard. You're in 2nd and 9. You got to pass it. AJ incomplete. 3rd and 9, they converted 12-yard gain to Devontae Smith. So you're 1st and 10 again. Saquon Barkley, 5 yards, might have been his longest run of the day. Then you go deep shot, incomplete to Jahan Dotson, punt. So they were very pass heavy early in the third quarter, and it wasn't successful, whereas it was tremendously successful, obviously, in the first half.
So do you think they abandoned it?
Yeah, they did. Because I
understand why, because of look at the numbers. But
you keep banging your head against the wall. Doing it. Right. That's kind of what they did.
Yeah.
And again, everything is feel in the game like that. You got to have a feel for it. And hey, I told you, Xander, in the pregame, I thought Dallas had the advantage inside in this ball game, and they did. They had the advantage on Dickerson and with Steen and with Jurgens. They owned it, and they held them to 60 yards freaking rushing. I mean, with Saquon Barkley.
And 33 of it was the quarterback.
Yeah, right. I mean,
I felt like we gave them the damn game, and a lot of it they didn't even capitalize on. If I'm not mistaken, they didn't score on either turnover. We had Saquon fumble and the Gibson. I don't think they scored on either of those two turnovers. Dallas off of those turnovers.
No, they got that was a great goal. They had 2 goal line stands. They had the Reed Blankenship interception, and then they stopped them after the Gibson fumble.
Yeah, I mean, if CeeDee Lamb could make some catches, this game might have been a bloodbath.
Yeah, it might have been 50-20. I mean, what is going on with CeeDee Lamb?
I don't know. John, I tweeted out, John, those are some overrated hands.
Man,
I mean, holy cow.
Well, evidently he's only had 2 drops outside of the Eagles, and he's had 7 drops against the Eagles. 7.
Right. I mean, I was like 10. It seemed like 70. I mean, in big game moments too.
By the way, think about this. If CeeDee Lamb could catch the football, they were able to persevere and win today. The Eagles would be behind the Bears going into Black Friday.
Yeah.
Wow.